Childcare and pre-K are shaping up to be big issues in the 2026 session. After a series of town halls this summer, a 28-person committee created by Governor Beshear's office has produced a report making a case for expanded pre-K in Kentucky through a mix of public and private provider partnerships. The report is a combination of testimonials, state comparisons, and education research to demonstrate both an early learning advantage in young kids and a financial one for working families. I caught up this week with Kentucky Education Commissioner Robbie Fletcher, who serves on that committee, who told me he sees KDE's role is ensuring feasibility.
What districts have the facilities ready to go right now to give every single student pre-K opportunities? What districts have the workforce? Not only the teachers, but also maybe the aides or maybe the additional bus drivers, things of that nature. It may take some type of process where school districts need to partner with private entities. They may not have the facilities, so why not partner with a local church or a local business to say, make sure they meet all the specs and all the requirements for a preschool building, but making sure that we have those partnerships to expand it.
Fletcher said that he views pre-K as something that should not be required but available to every family that wants it. The governor's report is not the only one published this year, arguing there's a case for investing in child care at large, not just pre-K. The Kentucky Chamber presented its its data to lawmakers in August, suggesting more moderate 16,000 to 28,000 boost to the workforce with more investment in existing child care assistance programs. So, Representative Aull, let's start with you here. Dr. Fletcher told me that pre-K for all may not be immediately achievable in this session, but expects the environment at least to look different in the spring on the other side of the session. What do you think happens?
I'm hopeful. I hear there's a lot of positive momentum in this space. I'm grateful to Governor Beshear and his leadership. And, I had the opportunity to attend one of those town halls this summer and hearing directly from the parents of these children and their struggle, the real struggles from managing time and how to get their kids from this daycare facility, the wait list to get in when you have a new child. It is a real strain on those families. And to the Chamber's point, the workforce development. If you're a single family household, you have to, that juggle is tough. So I think it's going to be an economic boost to our state. I think there's a lot of detail to be worked out between the legislature, the governor, the commissioner of education's office to kind of come together comprehensively and collaborate, but we need to have those conversations to finally move the ball forward in this front.
Senator Funke Frommeyer, what do you see happening in this session? Republicans hold the purse strings in Frankfort. How do you see this issue being approached next year?
I've got a unique perspective because I am a mom. I'm a mom of 6, and I have been a professional working woman my entire career, basically 35 years. And when I look at my 33-year-old daughter and the priority that she and her husband are making for her to be a stay-at-home mom, it weighs heavy on me that we would take such a broad approach to those early precious years of children being close to their parents, being trained and reared by their parents, and then also taxing that family that made a decision to keep a stay-at-home parent. So that is my personal experience that alarms me, but informs me as well as to what sort of position we might consider. The other factor that I find so important, going back to my own experience, if a private daycare is perhaps weakened by taking some of the most lucrative payers of their service, then you could put further child cares in jeopardy and danger, and the parents that really do need that reliable, in some cases 24 hours, 7 days a week, more flexibility. I believe that maybe we're taking a slightly wrong angle at this. We need to consider some of the regulations that have made these child cares very difficult. In fact, we're considering flexing some of those regulations in order to perhaps rush this pre-K forward, meaning you need different restroom layouts. Well, if you released or reduced some of those restrictions on some of the existing child cares, then you would have more child care available privately. So I'm concerned that we're taking an approach that's actually going to weaken the offering on a statewide 120 county basis. And we need to innovate. We need to continue leaning into that potential for business to innovate, because it does.
A little less than a minute left here, so just going to sneak in one more quick question. Is there a Democratic strategy for pre-K for all? If there is or isn't, I'd love to hear it. But if there isn't, what concessions could Democrats make to get on board with a possible GOP proposal around child care?
I don't think it should be a GOP or a Democratic proposal. I think it should be a proposal and a compromise that works best for all the families across the Commonwealth. I don't subscribe to the notion that if we go this route, it's going to hurt private business. There's been several other states that have incorporated private daycare centers into their pre-K plans. We could do that as well. The Pritchard Committee's put out studies in this space. Just because I think we need to think more broadly about how we can do this, both from a public and private perspective, together to help everybody.